Hi. We have been talking about climate change from the very morning. So by now, everyone knows a lot of things. One good thing, the last presentation was about an action point. It's not enough to create awareness, which is important, but it's also important to create enterprises or alternative solutions. So we had that one discussion. We'll carry forward it to now see how climate change has been reflected in media. What is the media doing? What more can be done? So just to recap our memory and sort of knowledge, quickly I will tell one of few lines. The evidence of rapid climate change. That there we understand by the global temperature rising. I'm told, I was in Paris some 20 days ago. I was told this time it was 40 degree in the summer in Paris. Never had it happened. I can't believe 40 degrees centigrade. In rare parts of India at times it happens. But in Paris, in France, so that means that's a proof of climate change. The ocean is getting warmer. Those who are in the marine or the navy, they know it. The ice sheets are shrinking. The glaciers are retreating. Snow cover is decreasing. Sea level is rising. Arctic sea ice is declining. Extreme events are increasing in frequency. Extreme events of climate extremes, I mean. So we are seeing rise of temperature, rise of water levels, declining ice. These are some of the signs of climate change. There are many more, but these are some of the major signs. Solutions, very quickly, I think friends from several countries, Somaliland, Japan, and many others, they have already told about some of the solutions earlier. So ending our reliance on fossil fuel. Can we bring down the use of petroleum-based products? Fossil fuel. Biofuel, how realistic is that? It is becoming realistic. 92% of, this country is in war now, Israel, but 92% of its vehicles do not run on petroleum products because they would be dependent on the Arab countries for that then. So they do not run on petroleum products. Alternative source of energy. Greater energy efficiency. How many of us switch off the, people are using sensors now. You leave the room, it gets switched off automatically. But where there are no sensors, how many of us are consciously doing that? Renewable source of energy, sustainable transportation, sustainable buildings. So buildings with huge use of glass and alternative green building structures. Better forestry management, sustainable agriculture, conservation-based solutions. One example was what the presentation was earlier. So these are several areas by which we know that some control over climatic change can be done. Now, with respect to the subject of this panel, now this is climatic change or climate change. These are the ways of controlling it. According to UNESCO, everyone knows about UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific, Cultural Organization. There has to be a lifestyle change for that, and media has a big role. When we say media, we do not want to mean only news media. There are three types of media. News media, entertainment media, behavior change media. Behavior change media is connected to advertising, public relations, events, and all that. Entertainment media is connected to cinema, films, same thing, television, radio, music, all that. And news we understand across all forms. How these are reflecting the issues connected to climate change, issues connected to alternative lifestyle. If you remember, at least those in India would remember, there was a film, Manthan I suppose, where the white revolution, the milk revolution of Gujarat was brought to a cinema. Powerful cinema. At that time, Smita Patil was a big actress, Nasiruddin was a big actress, Nasiruddin still is. So they were there, the stars, including Girish Karnad and others. So mainstream cinema put forth the struggle of the milk producers of India, of Gujarat, and a cinema was made which went on to win some awards abroad as well. So a cinema was used. When I heard the title Toilet Ek Prem Katha, a film on toilet, but that was what was made in India. A cinema on the use of toilet. Toilet Ek Prem Katha. And at this point, one of the top stars, Akshay Kumar, was the hero. So how many films have you seen on climate change? I'm not talking about documentary films. Documentary films, 1 upon 100 people might be watching, not even that. Mainstream, Bollywood, musical, Hollywood films connected to climate change. So these are some of the issues that we need to think of. any campaigns done by major corporations of the world on climate change? So maybe some are done, may not be enough. We'll listen to all our experts here. Let's begin from the lady on this side, right? It's good to begin from the left to right. Everyone looks at right. Let's from left to right. And let's begin with our friend from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a beautiful island nation, as you all know. So what are the things your media is doing in your part of the world, and what more would you like to see them doing that?
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. And I do believe media is the main part that can make a revolutionary change in the society, in the environment, among the people, to make their attitude in this kind of revolution. So in Sri Lanka, what I believe is I think you will agree with me. Actually, most of the people are concerning about the environment factor. You won't see capital city Colombo. Once you go to Colombo now, you won't see much garbage, because everywhere the media has given a big support to educate the people. I think they have done a big job. They have done an immense service there to do a change in their mind, so that that is also, and the advertising also, all these things in media in Sri Lanka, I do believe they have done a great job to make that revolution. And there may be some problems. There are some problems we need to solve quickly. And anyway, I hope now we are curing. We have entered to this level, and the media is supporting. Media is supporting, and especially I'm a teacher. So being a teacher, when I'm doing some environmental activity, first and foremost, the media support is given. And I know how they are doing their news allocation. They are doing a very big job for giving publicity, as well as they add more and more. And I hope media is doing a great job in Sri Lanka in this case.
Thank you. You have talked about a positive role of media. I would request every panelist to also give some stories, examples, cases that show good or bad, or inefficient or proper, whatever, coverage of climatic and environmental issues by various types of media, not just news, all types of media. Govindji, Nepal is a beautiful Himalayan country. I have been in Nepal and stayed there for 2 years, have been visiting otherwise as well. Very powerful, few at least media houses are there, quite powerful. Kathmandu Post and what is that newspaper?
Kantipur.
The biggest Kantipur. Kantipur is, I mean, everyone will be astonished. Kantipur is the Nepali daily newspaper. Its English is Kathmandu Post. But there are many, more than 100 media houses, small and big. But Kantipur and Kathmandu Post together, including their channel, Kantipur radio and channel TV, they are more than 50% of the size of the total media of the country. It's almost 51-52% of the revenue is only with one organization. It's like in India, if you say Times of India group controls 50%, that doesn't. It's around, I think, 17 or 18% of the total economy, media economy. So very powerful media. How do you see, even your cinema is coming up in a big way. Some of the very well-known directors I know there, cinema is coming up in a way. How do you see the media playing a role in environment protection, which is a natural part of Nepali people? They naturally protect their own environment. But what is the media doing there?
Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah, media has pivotal role to enhance and spread the message of conservation of environment. So in our country, still we see there is less funding to cover the environmental issues by media. We have some cases, there are so many calamities and sometimes catastrophe. In such cases, the media houses makes report, they brings report and make people aware too. They play great role in such cases. And as you have said, there is a good film industry. They are trying to make some films, informative uh, films regarding environmental issues, and they are trying. They are not doing the best, but they are trying to cover uh, this issue also. Thank you.
Thank you. Two films I've seen on Everest. There's an English film from Hollywood called, title is Everest, and the Hindi film called Unchai. In Unchai, Amitabh Bachchan, Anupam Kher, and Boman Irani, I suppose. These three were the elderly three gentlemen who wants to go to the Everest base camp, and their struggle comes. The film has a strong, message on man and nature relationship, and how man's endeavor and nature's protection go hand in hand. Very good two films. But these both were produced, one by Hollywood, one by Bollywood. So I am not aware, because I haven't been introduced to a large number of films in Nepal. But music I have seen. Lot of songs are there on Himal. Himal is the local name of Himalaya in Nepal. So and the Himal is a subject of song, dance. So it is very important when you bring nature, conservation, protection as a part of your culture in dance, music and all. Very important. Like in Assam, Brahmaputra is the subject of many films, many music, many dance in Assam. Ganga is very common in Hindi as well. So it is very significant. Unfortunately, in every society, the importance of nature has not been captured so much by public imagination in a very strong manner. There surely are exceptions, and exceptions are welcome. Now we'll know it from Europe. From Europe, Romania and otherwise, as whole Europe. Europe that way has been able to preserve, and I must appreciate this because I'm fresh from Europe only 5 days ago. The aspect of sustainability is very strong. They would not easily use plastic. In fact, plastic is largely banned in major parts of the continent. So how is your media playing a role in Romania or in Europe in general with respect to climate change and environment?
Thank you for questions. I do believe media is doing a big role, but not everything they can do. Because, when we are talking about media, we are talking, for example, look here behind you. There is a banner, yes? We have to plant tree, not to cut the trees. On the hall, people share the cards, yes? In the schools, we ask our students to prepare also the posters. So this should start from the small age. Media should have a very good job from the small age, and step by step growing up from the family, from school, university, working place, and so on. Everybody can contribute, and media is the only one who can advertising everything, but not in this way. Nowadays, we are mostly online, yes, in many activities. We can use online platforms in order to advertising such of environmental changes. In each house should be from the parents, grandparents, like some rules, life rules, yes? And if we are doing what we need to do, our children will learn to do the same. If we teach our children to watch on TV and to know how to take what is good, how to appreciate what they have to do, they will do in the future. If we are saying, yes, I am fighting with climate change, but I trash something down, what example do I give to the youngest? So media is very important. As Professor Ujwal said, nowadays in Europe, yes, rarely you will see plastic garbage. We evaluated very much, but still not enough. And if media will be more with us, I think things will go better.
Thank you. Thank you. I just was remembering that in the context of what she said in an educational institute, around 4 months ago, I had gone to a beautiful university on the hills of India. It's called Shulini University. It's in Solan, Himachal Pradesh. And Shulini University, they have come to a 3 days, even after pandemic, I'm talking of now, 3 days physical class, physical meet, and 2 days remote, online. So all the theoretical classes largely are online. All the group work, the peer work, team work, practical, lab-based, those are physical. Those are in person. So that's one thing. The other thing I saw, that everything that they do is connected, all the decoration that they do, there is nothing artificial, nothing use of plastic. So it will be always earthen tubs and flowers. Even guests, I had given a talk, I was given a plant. And because I cannot bring the plant by flight back to Calcutta, so I was asked to plant the tree, on the campus. And they put a name, my name, that it was planted on such and such day. The plant is still there, I mean, it will be there. And I saw hundreds of such plants of all the visitors. So that's a way of thinking. One school in Calcutta I found, they have banned the posters. They have started that anyone who has to make a model using small waste materials and soil and all that, has to make a model. Solar system, make a model, not a poster. Photosynthesis, make a model and show, not a poster. So the idea is that the touch of the soil will be there with the children. That's very good. Their bonding with the earth will be there. So interesting. I just remember these examples when you were saying. Sir has been at the forefront of media education in this country. Dr. Amrish Saxena, he is the Secretary of Global Media Education Council. Apart from leading several media institutions in this country, worked in the channel, also television channel, Z News. So my question, I mean, we have been seeing in India, good and bad, both sides of the coverage of nature, environment, climate change, a lot of things. When there is a crisis, as you were saying, when there is a crisis, I mean, there is always and other problems, glacier, breaking down and all those in Nepal. So there will be a lot of story, but people don't go behind. The media does not go behind the reasons, how it can be stopped in future. For example, recently, Kedarnath was flooded. Recently, Uttaranchal, there was one full town went under the ground, went inside the ground, because the water has actually created a big fissure, underground fissure. The whole houses went down. So everyone does a coverage. Nobody does what were the reasons behind how it can be stopped in any other place. So, sir, make a critical analysis of the role of media with respect to environment and climate change.
If you look at the role of media, which, if I can tell you, with my experience of working either in the media industry or in media education for last 40 years, Indian journalism has no place to cover environment. It was not there, 30, 40 years ago also it was not there, even today it's not there. When we look at Indian journalism, it's out and out dominated by political content. I know that there is a reason behind, and that the roots are during the pre-partition period, because during the British period, we were fighting the British with the help of Indian journalism. So it was anti-establishment, as we call it. So the nature of Indian media was always anti-establishment, and somehow even today I will not call it anti-establishment, because for the last 10 years Indian media has become pro-establishment, but then the political content dominate. So whether we talk about agriculture, whether we talk about climate or environment, whether we talk about any good thing which is necessary for having a better society, all that is invisible in Indian media. That's a very sad affair. I mean, if you look at even agriculture, if you take the example, it is the Hindu newspaper which has started pages on agriculture, but even Hindi newspapers, I mean, that is an English newspaper, but even Hindi and language newspapers, they do not have dedicated spaces, dedicated pages for agriculture. Same applies to environment. There are no separate pages or columns of environment. You will find columns on internal politics, international politics, on even on Indian economy, the world economy, but you will not find any content reserved for environment. That's very sad. In newspapers we can accept, at least to some extent, somewhere we find some coverage, but television media in India is completely out of the track. They have no concern for environment or for any such thing which is good for society. Now, over the years, like last 15-20 years, what I have seen, because I have been in media education almost 20 years now. So what I have seen that in the curriculum, there is more and more space is being given to environment. Like in my university, in Indraprastha University, in Bachelor's of Journalism and Mass Communication, a paper has been prescribed on environment communication. So at least that we can say that there is at least some beginning. But here again, there is another problem. The way the children are groomed in India, at the home front, at the school front, they are not taught about the importance of environment. So in books, something can be taught, something can be studied, but in practice, that's not there. Like if I give you very rude example, the locality where I live, there are more than 100 societies. So you can imagine the size of the population in that vicinity, and it's a upmarket locality. But then there is a market where you cannot even walk on the road. It's so filthy, so dirty. Now, who is responsible for this? If we are providing good education in schools, even we are teaching environment as a paper, we are having at the bachelor's level separate papers for that, but in practice, nothing is happening. So what I mean to say here, not only the media or media education, but we have to look at the whole problem from this perspective, that there are so many stakeholders. Now, schools or colleges is one, then the home is two, then the policy makers, the government. When we say policy making, the government is responsible mainly for two things. One, for making the policy. Two, for executing the policy. Now here I give you an example. The way the plastic bags are used in India, all across the country, at least in major part of the country, we have a policy. Though policy was brought much delay, but then we ultimately had a policy. We have a policy. But what about execution? Despite having a policy, it's not being implemented. Plastic bags are used in a big way. Now, who is responsible? Whatever education you give in schools and colleges, when you go to the market, the shopkeeper will give you the stuff in a plastic bag. And you are not carrying your own bag, so you don't mind, because you feel that how will you carry that stuff? So so there's no solution to all these problems. So we have to have a system wherein the policies are there, the execution is there, the educators are performing their role, the parents are performing their role, the students are performing their role. If that is not happening, we are not reaching to any solution. Like as you gave the example of that town in Uttarakhand which was collapsing. But then there was a coverage for coverage in media happened when there was a strong agitation by the people for months together. Otherwise, media was not paying any attention to that thing. So ultimately, media paid attention. It was covered for 10 days, 20 days, then the matter subsided. we do not know today what is the status there, because no coverage is there, whether the television, whether the print, whether the digital. So even I do not know what is happening there on the ground at the moment. So the kind of politics is such in India that we cannot expect any good thing to happen, because ultimately politicians are hand in glove with the builders, builders are hand in glove with mafia. So anything can be buried under the ground. We will never know. Media will never tell us, because in India the media is completely in the hands of the corporates, and these corporates are for profit making, not for changing the society. So there is a vicious circle. So we have to think how we can handle this kind of issue. And this is not only the case of the news media, as you were referring to entertainment media. I otherwise also as an individual does not expect much from the entertainment media, because that's a completely different business. Like as you referred to that film, Toilet Ek Prem Katha. Before that film was released, there is another gentleman who produced a film exactly on the same lines. 2 years before that, when I had gone to a film festival in Melbourne in 2016, I watched that film. After 2 years, I found that this Akshay Kumar film was released. So why I'm quoting this example? This means I am a filmmaker with a very limited finance. I generate some finance. I make an excellent film. Now the problem is how to distribute my film. And if there is another producer who can afford to take Akshay Kumar, his film will be seen. So entertainment media has its own limitations. And as you refer to documentaries, there are no documentaries made because there are no finances available, and there are no receivers, no takers, no viewers. So how can we expect that something good will be done as far as documentary is concerned? So I mean, I'm not giving this whole pessimistic picture, because I'm a very optimistic person. But this is simply to actually look at through what are the things happening on the ground. If we understand that, only then we can think of as to how we can get rid of this kind of situation, and what all can be done to handle the problems that we all are facing because of the climate change, because of the bad environment. And living in Delhi, we all know how do we suffer because of all these things. But then there are no politicians who are bothered for that. They are simply involved in infighting. Delhi versus Haryana, Delhi versus UP, AAP versus BJP. They are not concerned for the people's issue. So we have to think how we can impress upon the people sitting in the government that when they will start looking at the people's issue, and something good is done to protect the environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Detailed discussion. Detailed discussion. Thank you very much. Star TV, as I was telling in the morning, had a program long back, a weekly program called Living on the Edge, EDG, Edge. And it was not getting advertisements. It was not getting advertisements. The advertisements were for other popular programs. And Star TV's, the then CEO told, I don't mind if I have to do this program on loss, because this is the soul of our channel. हमारे channel की आत्मा है. This is the soul of our channel. That sort of leadership in media is not seen today. He rightly noted about Hindu. It had a segment called Rural Editor and a Rural Supplement. And the editor was famous P. Sainath. Everyone knows in India P. Sainath started Pari now, rural reporting portal he has created. Now, after P. Sainath, there was no, even Hindu has done away with that segment, because they say there are no advertisers for that. Now the point is, the rural economy is quite strong. Whether it's Africa or Asian countries, rural economy is very strong. There are many seeds, manures, tractors, and many other products. Why can't they be supporting a segment in media which is focused on agriculture and environment? The other thing is that anything talked about environment-friendly lifestyle is considered to be expensive. That is the point that she was telling at the time, that if I can make a bottle which is environment-friendly equal to the price of the plastic bottle, then the plastic will go out of business. But the focus of neither the government nor the private sector has been on there. and the desire to make it a happening thing, that to go green is style, to go green is happening. That is the media's role. That is where the media campaign has to be done. So going green is not a fad, not just a passing thing, but that's the necessary thing. Media hasn't worked on that. We go to a country of great wisdom now. We have a professor from Japan, Nippon, the land of rising sun. And it's a great wisdom because I worked with the Nippon Foundation. And one of the first things that I noted, that they value every minute so preciously. I'm ashamed to tell that we don't in India. So I was co-organizer of an event where for whatever reason, I went 15 minutes late. Our guests were the Japanese. They were all there 15 minutes earlier. So if the program is 10 o'clock, I went at 10:10 or 10:15. And they were already there by 9:40, having tea and all that. Most of the audience wasn't there. And some of the organizers, including me, wasn't there at 10 o'clock. It was in Vigyan Bhavan, that big time issue. We should have been much in advance. But in any case, I learned certain lessons from there. And one of the lessons is also about sustainable life, sustainable lifestyle. I had heard the talk of Yoi Sasakawa-san, who is the chairman of Nippon Foundation, on how you can build a healthy lifestyle by changing a few habits of yours. He himself used to wear always khadi when he was in India, and used to buy a lot of khadi clothes to take back to Japan. So we have our professor here, and I would request him to speak on how Japan media and government are handling this issue with respect to climate change, what sort of public opinion is being created, how you find, and what suggestions you have. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I want to be a real Japanese. Still, I am not Japanese. The reason is the question, do you know your parents' name? Even this question may not be answered when I visited Bangladesh. They said, I don't know about the name of the father because sex wife my mother worked for, that's why. That's why general idea is not general idea. But second of all, I ask you, do you know the name of the great parents' name? You can name the 4 persons. When I ask the student, almost less than half only answer 2. Then I ask you again, do you know the name of great-grandparents? You have to name 8. Well, in Japan, when I ask this question, only 1 or 0. That means when we born, the parents was 25 or 30 years old. X3, that means within 100 years, we are forgotten. That means even we are represented by each country, why we are here? Because parents were born us. That means related to history. Do you know the history of our own country? Like here, the RELTTAW, this is the name of the ship. That is 1840 September, Turkey people visited to Japan. 696 people, among them, only 63% alive. Because few Japanese people, poor Japanese people, try to help them. They still try to express appreciation, even though we are not related to such Japanese. How about ourselves as a Japanese? Do you know the name of Junius Richard Jayawardena? Good. But many Japanese people are forgotten because during San Francisco Peace Committee promise were made after World War II, because of him, Japanese are saved. Almost 50 countries against, but only his opinion, Japanese were saved. Do we appreciate to him? Because media are not informing enough of his contribution. We are forgetting. So what we can do? Even SDG, we answer sustainable development. Do Japanese understand what SDG mean? Almost less than 30% may understand. But Japanese people has a tradition like a toilet. They use after toilets as a nutrition for vegetable. But how about Europe? They had a many problems for disease because they cannot use budget. That means even we use SDGs, we have a different cultures. Some of them might have, we have not enough SDGs. No, no, no. You are doing this because you have different culture. That means we have to find out the real culture, what it is, so that we may be able to reach out the real SDGs. So that is our opinion.
SDGs have been around for some time, and quality education, which is one of the things that connect to us in education sector, is a major point. But we have talked about SDGs but not created genuine, implementable, executionable roadmap on SDGs. We have left it to the government. Now, it cannot be left to the government. Environment is too serious a matter to be left alone to the government, unless the people at large also get involved. So, Dr. James is not around. I would have loved to get some comment on Africa. Saad, would you like to make some comment on how media in Africa is covering climate or environment? Would you like to? You can use the mic there. You can even stand there and speak. From the podium itself, you can speak. Just any one or two examples from Africa. We had Europe and Asia, but South Asia, but not Africa. Just one or two examples.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I am greeting you, the great panelists who in there, and even the participants who follow or suggest. And let me get down the media in Africa, how to participate in climate change. Really, Africa is a different way. First, let us start in here, the country that I come from, in Somalia. Media is the most important, the current situation that we are in the world. Media is the most important figure that can spread everything that we give it. So in Somaliland, many discussions were made to know why media doesn't participate to promote in environmental. So there become a feedbacks. The Somaliland most delegates or Somaliland leaders now, there is no special trainer for according to environment. There are many journalism who is very proficient in the news and other sector, but do not take how to promote in environment. So it decided to make or to produce well-trained journalists to spread and make programs. So now there is a 2 or 3 program that might grow our understanding, Somali people understanding how to keep the environment. Also, our neighbor countries like that. I know only for that. Thank you very much for your.
Thank you. Enough. Good. We'll also hear another voice from Europe. Dr. Manuela Dan, if you could speak about how in your country, Denmark, climate change and environmental issues are communicated, media or otherwise communicated.
Hi. What I can do, Denmark, it's a first in the world, Copenhagen, and spatial, it's more green in the world. But the government, it is together with study and starting at small children. And when you're starting with education, I think it's everything. You not can did anything wrong at one Danish. Danish, it's very correctly, but very strictly. Say you do wrong one cigarette outside, coming Danish at you, hey, come, you make your this. It's not normal, but it's very starting at himself. Everybody, it's necessarily focus with this, and everybody know, okay, it's wrong, what she do. In Denmark, anybody, it's style robot. Tack, 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 tack. Everything, it's nothing at another place. It's green and like very much in the do for social. It's a society very social. It's very small, cold. It's not same here, but it's this I can did. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you. You know, I found it in Switzerland also. For 1 year, I worked with World Health Organization, and Geneva is the headquarters of WHO. So some people from Asia and Africa, they were walking cigarette very nicely, very happily, and throwing anywhere, like that. I found citizens actually forcing them to pick it up and throw it in the. But sadly, in this last visit, Paris, French people, they smoke anywhere and throw anywhere, do anything, and very sad. French, I did not expect Paris to be, it's cleaner than many of Indian cities, but it's dirtier than the European cities, Paris. I was very unhappy to see that. So anyway, that's just as a point and rebuttal, point on what she has told. And now we will be coming towards the end of the. Many of our Indian friends have joined us. Any of you would like to make a comment on? Yes, please. You can come up here, or you can take the mic. Where was the mic? Yeah. The mic is here. You can take the mic.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. This is Professor Dr. P.K. Rajput. I am having a 40 years of experience while heading India's top pharmaceutical company in sales and marketing as a senior vice president, and I was in charge for 25 countries. Last year, I took the decision that let be a part of the education industry, which is very important. And today, I am a professor of practice for 5 universities, and I'm also in the 21 universities as their board of directors for building the things which is there. I start with the early child education because I am a speaker in the global platform for ECE. I am also a speaker when we talk about the schools. I also speak about the universities from campus to corporate. Now, now coming to the point, since morning I was listening, I was writing the things that yes, how the change can happen, why we put something to others. First is to start from our home. The parents should be most responsible about the change, climate change. The second is the school part, which is the early child education. Because when the fundamentals are going to be strong, the entire journey will be very, very strong. It is very important. Now, coming to the plantation part, when we are listening about it, rainwater harvesting, let me give you some examples. How many houses we have the rainwater harvesting? That is one of the things which government cannot do, the society can make it happen. It is in our hand about it. Second thing is, then about the plantation. Suppose even the school, if the child is responsible, if the child is coming at the age of 5 years and the child is there till 15 years of the age, let the child should be responsible for the plant 2 or 3 plant, because today we talk about the plantation, But we are not talking that don't cut the trees. Because when the plant becomes a tree, it takes 20 years minimum. And by the child, when the child grows up, he is not there, she is not there at that place. So it is always important to save the trees and then also keep on telling the child that plantation is very important and the child has to take care. Because let me tell you, in Asian countries, we are not talking about the climate change sustainability education part. We are not talking about the sex education part. I will not talk other thing which we are not talking. But this is a very important forum where we can talk, which is going to give us significant change. Third thing we are talking about, every 3 years we are changing the gadgets, right? Every 3 years. What is going to happen about the gadget which we have not using it? So it is again a electronic wastage. Where it is going? Who is responsible for that? We don't give to somebody else which is really needy, like to the servant or somebody else, right? They require it, but we keep it with us. I'm pretty sure in a good house there must be 3, 4, 5 gadgets. 5 gadgets will be there where the uses of only of 2 gadgets, right? So that is the way that we are wasting the thing. Next, I like to highlight it here, the old vehicles which are there. Why we are not, again, Asian countries. The destroying of the old vehicles is very important at the right place at the right time. Because again, it is going to increase the carbon footprints. Then what she said about it, the plastic bottles. Let me tell you example. When we go to the hotel, how to save the water? Why a waiter should come to our place and give a full glass of water when I am not going to quench my thirst with a full glass of water? Only half glass is sufficient. That is sufficient. If I'm thirsty, I can ask about it, give me a little more water. We can save that water, which is very important. Coming to the other water part, we all have RO filters at our home. And when the filter gets, how much water is getting wasted in that? Can we conserve that water, which is going to help to take care for the plants, which is very important. Then I was listening about coming to the education part. Now, from the early child education, when the child goes to the college, right, or to the university, how a child has been treated, how the schools are treating it to ensure that the child should be responsible, which is very important part. Today, sir was talking about media. I saw in the Google, there are 7 films have been made on climate change. But all the actors in India, they were actor which nobody knows about it because the finances was not there. Right. So media, I fully agree because I am associated with, first time I'm coming here, but I keep on going to the different places. I know that media is being pumped by the finances. Right. But how? It is our responsibility. I always say the change can happen from us, not from somebody else. If we all decide that we are going to be a change maker in this beautiful world, we can make a lot of difference, which is very, very important. That's all I like to say here on this wonderful platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very well said. Dr. Rajput, very meaningful, very productive ideas. Dr. Malini, would you like to speak a bit on how Malaysian media, communication dealing with this idea? So another country we can know about. Dr. Malini, please.
Thank you for the platform. All right. As you said, movies-wise, we are not into movies actually, but there are a lot of documentaries around. Talking about media, we are not that active, I would say, but there are a lot of campaigns are going on actually. There are a lot of campaigns, especially I myself in academic world. So we educate the students from the tender age. From the age of 3 or 4, we will start a lot of campaigns from the schools, even workshops and all that. And even when we come out with any innovation, since I'm a science background, very strong science background person, so we do a lot of innovations. So all these innovations, we integrate with SDGs actually. So which is also related to our environmental. So that's one part of it. But talking about media, not really. I guess we still need a lot of improvisation in Malaysia on that. Yeah, I need to be frank. Yeah, thank you.
Good. That's a practical way of looking at it. Thank you. Any second comment would you like to make? Any comment further before we close? Very short, one line.
Oh yeah, I also hope that politicians in each country, they have another job because though the media has the ideas to give to the society, but there are some barriers. Even in Sri Lanka, when the rainforest is being protected, there are some cases. So likewise, I think the media should not be biased. They should be frank, really. Then it will be nicer and it will be so helpful to this whole world.
Fine. Thank you. Anything, Pansab?
Actually, on a special day, because media, they have talk show on TV.
5th June,
Yeah.
Environment Day.
So on Environment Day or any other occasions too. If there is, as I said earlier, if there is any special event or special, occasion, they bring people, environmentalists or other, policymakers to the media, and they have talk show. Okay, thank you.
So specific days media utilizes the environment issue. Anything you'd like to add? Okay. Dr. Takahashi, anything would you like to add before we finish?
Yeah, just I determined Dr. Cheer knows Japan only find one word. He said Nippon, not Nihon. So he knows very well. Thank you.
Thank you. I must note here, Dr. Ryo Takahashi has a PhD in bioethics and sustainability. Very, very relevant to our area. So on this subject of panel discussion, I request Dr. Ambrish Saxena to say the last word. How do we look going ahead with respect to media and environment?
Yeah, the last thing that I would like to add here, the North-South divide, which I believe is one of the major reasons why environmental issues are not being taken up properly. The West, the developed West, has been very clever. They have everything to their benefit, but they don't want all these things for the people of the developing countries. Unless until there is a parity, unless until there is a consensus on basic issues, this problem is difficult to handle at the international level, because the problem is not completely local. It has its international dimensions. Secondly, regarding SDGs, I also believe that this SDGs have been formulated very well, and a lot of us believe in that and work accordingly. But then, if on one hand, United Nations prescribe SDGs, on the other hand, they are sitting as mute spectators whenever there is a war going on between Russia and Ukraine, whenever there is a war is happening between Israel and Hamas. This United Nations does nothing. So simply prescribing something which is very good on the academic phase and not doing any action on the ground, how can we save our planet with this kind of double standards? Secondly, the kind of damage that's being done by these two wars. I, as an individual, and I believe others will also agree with me, never imagined 2 years back that in 21st century we will be seeing these kind of wars. We all believe that now we are in the 21st century. Technologically we are so developed. Economically also the major part of the world is prosperous. So we will having a better world to live in, rather seeing as to how these wars are happening. And the whole world is looking silently whatever is happening. And again, I am referring to West. The entire West is supporting the war. If, Ujalji, if you pay attention to this fact, yeah, the entire world is watching, and the Western world, they are supporting the war. So if such kind of situation is there in the world, whatever little things we do at our level to protect our environment, the damage that's being done, that will remain forever, for centuries. So we should also look at this issue. Some public opinion should be mounted at whatever level, whatever little we can do. If we are not doing this, then all our efforts to protect the environment will go waste. So let us have peace in the world. Only then we should talk about protecting the environment.
Very well said. Very well said. You know, after Second World War, Germany and Japan decided to be completely on the front of peace and focus on economy. And that's how Japan and Germany became the two of the leading economies of the world. They are not known for their military, but nobody will mess up with them because of their economic power. When Russia entered Ukraine, which I consider wrong, the Western world criticized Russia. When Israel is entering Palestine, the Western world is applauding Israel. There is hypocrisy. There is a hypocrisy there. I think that's the hypocrisy he was trying to mention. While Russia is an aggressor in Ukraine, in spite of Ukraine having done something which can rightfully agitate Russia, similarly Hamas has done something wrong. That does not mean the entire Palestinian population has to face the war. And by now, officially, could be more than 10,000 Palestinians have died, 45% of them being children. So that cannot happen. That cannot be just because Hamas has done a one-day incursion and violence on the Israelis, which is extremely wrong. But then endless war cannot happen. Hamas has already called for exchange of prisoners, and Israel is not accepting that. What Israel has been, or Jews have faced in Germany, the Palestinians are facing the same in Israel today in their own homes. So anyway, that's a bigger issue. Very right, Dr. Saxena has mentioned that global peace is being disturbed, and that will disturb, obviously, what you call the environment stability. Having said that, it does not stop us from changing our lifestyle, from moving from an unsustainable consumerist lifestyle to a more sustainable lifestyle. And options are there, whether garments, whether daily use, whether food, whether the beauty care and the body care that we have, whether transportation, options are coming up in the society for a more sustainable lifestyle. Question is, are we ready for that? We will bring the panel discussion to an end here. It is supposed to be followed up by an open house. And the open house, I'd like to begin the open house because it's a free-for-all discussion at this point of time. This RELTTAW, right? That's the right pronunciation. RELTTAW, the exchange program that's happening in for the last 3 days and the next 2 days happening in India, is expected to happen in different countries in every year. So when next time we meet, beyond presentations and panel discussions, what more can we do? What more can we do? Whether we meet in Sri Lanka or Malaysia or Kazakhstan or anywhere, or Romania, anywhere we meet, what more can we do apart from presentations, get together, hugging one another, which is all fine. These are all good things. But beyond that, what can we do? How was the experience this time? What further can be done? How can school and college educators take the movement for a better environment forward? This is the theme. Everyone is expected to give some ideas on that. And we'll begin with those who have not spoken much. We should begin with them. So, sir, you have spoken in the first half. No, you. You can come. You can come by just giving some ideas on what more can be done. And the foreign delegates also, please think over it. Yes, we'll ask.
Thank you very much. As for like I have seen lot of discussion, lot of presentation were going on. They are talking about environmental issues. Being a teacher or an educator for the teachers in our system, I believe we can start from school, and even we are doing. Like in my system, we had started inquiry-based project learning. So inquiry-based project learning means we call upon a student in open forum, like we do voting, and they give some idea. We collect all idea in a box. All these ideas are from the student, and they talk about the issues or inquiries existing in the system. And then 2, 3 people, like those are the reviewer of the ideas. They call the student, and then from that chit, they read, and then they ask the student what we can do. If you have these issues, what you can do for it. And then in a group, there is a lot of discussion. The people talk to each other. After discussion, we frame a question. That is a problem. And how to address that problem, we started about the solution. Like, I will give you example. I will go with the example. We had a problem in Uttarakhand. There is lot of wastage of water because we have hill areas, there is a lot of rain. And like sir has said, Kedarnath, and there are a lot of problems, flood and a lot of erosion. But we have a lot of water. How we can use that water? Then the government started policy making hydropower station, big dams, but that is not the solution. Because of that big dams, lot of problems started. So what we have think of, we started making mini hydropower station. Mini hydropower station means we have to collect a small amount of water, a small reservoir, maybe a small tank. Like sir is saying, there is a rain harvesting tank. That kind of tank we started means establishing nearby the school for a project work. And from that water, collected water, we started generating electricity. That electricity is villages, like 2, 3 houses. That amount of electricity we did the same thing.
And that is produced by the school and the
Yes,
staff and
student. We started.
That is real education. If they can produce some electricity, even 5 houses are using. I mean, Poland, there is solar panels at the top. 40% of the household electricity is produced there itself in the home. If this can be done in a Indian school.
When I have the project in my site, the totally recorded everything, the work has been done by the student. And what actually we have done, we have connected it with the curriculum. Actually in class 11 and 12, there is a alternating current, there is a chapter. So we are doing school project, we are doing social work, and we are working for the society, and we are generating economy also from that electricity. We are giving electricity, means nearby houses, nearby villages, from that small mini hydro project. And the cost is around 10,000 only 10,000. And that we collected, and even teachers and student, and then we started the project. Means, and how we go ahead, like we're talking about sustainability. We call nearby the people villagers, and they were looking after the project. Means the caretaking, means so that nothing will be damaged. And in other words, we can say the people are means the rest of the water what we are used for the generation of electricity. The rest of water they use for, and then we produce some means good nearby.
Thank you.
This is one example I had given, and we have many query-based project in a school, and then we are successful in such cases. So I think that kind of thing can be done in a school. We can focus on learning, especially inquiry-based question, and then frame subject, and then we'll learn the subject also, and so many things. Thank you.
It's a very good example, no doubt. Inquiry leading to a project, leading to an execution of the project, and an social economic outcome. Very good example. Before I call madam, one example, one case study I would like to, or rather one fact I would like to put before you. World Teen Parliament, a parliament of teenagers from 13 to 19 years. That's the age group that most of you are teaching. So World Teen Parliament is a body that the movement started from Udaipur in India, and now 19 countries are there. Students from 19 countries are there once in a year. So every child who participates is a free, no payment and nothing, has to send 59 seconds. That means less than 1 minute video of him talking about solving one socio-economic or environmental problem, and how he looks at it. If he were doing it, what would he have done? So they have, I'm not getting into details. I would like to introduce World Teen Parliament Management and RELTTAW together, because you are a body of educators from so many countries. You can send 3 or 4 entries from each of your school. And their policy is one MP, Member of Parliament, World Teen Parliament, no? One MP will be nominated or elected. It's not elected, it's just selected in a way from the entries. From each country, at least one. And where there are more than 1,000 entries, maybe more than one. 5,000 entries, more than 2, like that. They have some rules. So by which around 30% Indian, because Indian students were more, 70% come from other countries, including Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal and all. So I'll introduce RELTTAW, and I would want that the students, such ideas, that inquiry-based, project-based ideas should be recorded and sent, so that this, and UNESCO is supporting this project, UNICEF is supporting this project. So this could be a great idea on that. So now to Madam Roma, right?
Hello.
Ramona, sorry.
I'm
Oh, sorry.
Ramona from Romania. I'm very nervous, but I'm very nervous. I don't have opportunity to exercise my. I am nervous because I don't have the opportunity to exercise my English. So, oh, thank you, thank you. Okay. My country, Romania, it's very beautiful. You have here a beautiful map. And do you see, you perfectly? Do you see this point? Well, a point, small point, is my country. Over here, look. This is the Black Sea. We have the small mountain. We have the small rivers. We have few people, but these people are my concitizens and are a big heart. And my country has a blue sky. You don't mean how blue this is. A beautiful sky and the beautiful flowers. Well, how can keep this thing for my children, my nephew? I don't have anymore, but I hope to have. How? I want to ask you something. Who is media? But who represents media? Who is government? Yes, you, me, us. And we have the honest people in the media, in the government. We need the people honest. How can't Rose, I missing the word. We need the honest people. How can do this? Oh, us, teachers. We have a heart, how they say a word? Mission. We have a hard mission. We have to teach the children all this. This is our mission. Not the media, not the, yes, it's important, but we have to teach these people, these children to be honest people in media, in government.
Great.
Done? I have right.
Very well said. Mission of the teachers to produce the next generation who will take up these issues. Open house we have started. We have started open house.
I hope make understanding. This is my.
No, the very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
madam. Okay. So our question was, how was this whole exchange going on for the last 3 days? Comment on that. What more can we do and go beyond seminars and panel discussions and paper presentations next time? And probably our leader says probably the next time could be in Kazakhstan maybe. So wherever it is, what more can be done? Open house. So anyone can come and give suggestions. particularly those who have come from outside the country. If anyone, and don't worry about English. Just tell your heart. She has spoken from the heart. Just talk about the heart. That's enough. That's enough. Yes.
Just to say a few words. RELTTAW, it's not only about exchange of people. RELTTAW is about collecting data and research informations. In the future, we are willing to have our own book, and we are willing to get a new technology which can be implemented in our school, as Mr. Ramesh Prasad said, in our next project in the schools, from small age to big age. This is our aim for a moment. Yes, we don't know where we are going next time, because as I said, we need a good contact who can be like Dr. Ambrish, Professor Ujjwal here, who can help us to do such of things.
So as you said a little earlier to me, on your behalf, on everyone's behalf, we request the Kazakhstan team to think over that. If we can, if they already invited, okay, they already invited. If you can organize, because there's a beautiful country, and let's explore. Less known countries should be explored more. So any further ideas? Open house now. Next few, yes, yes. You can come on the stage also, if that can be started. That mic, the podium mic. Yes,
Okay,
Dr. Malini.
Yeah. Okay, it's a very short one. Actually, earlier I forgot to add on to my list. All right. Back in my country, there is a new rules after we got our new prime minister 2 years back. So there is a new rules. When I guess it's a very good idea too. When the corporate companies come forward to help the nation on the environmental, the media comes in. Do you all agree with me? Yes. So that's what we are doing back in Malaysia. So we just started about a year ago. So all these corporate companies, it's a must for them in order to renew their license, and also a lot of things. And it's a must for them to have this session under their CSR program.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, environment program under CSR.
Yeah, environmental program under CSR. So it's a must for them.
Okay.
So so they should allocate certain amount from the own income for this. It's a must for them, for all the big corporate companies. Yes, so it's a must. So to me, when the corporate companies come forward and do a lot of things on the environmental, the media comes in automatically. That is what I have seen so far.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank
I
you.
guess rest of the countries, I know it's a very big plan, but rest of the countries follow too. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very good idea. I must add something on Malaysia here. In Malaysia, whatever a person gets a salary of the whole year, 5% of that and equivalent 5% by the employer have to be created. That means 10% of the salary. Suppose I have, that's in ringgit, no? In Malaysia, ringgit. So if it is, let's say, 50,000 ringgit annual income, so I have to put 2,500 ringgit, government will put, my employer will put, it can be government or non-government, 2.5. So 10% will be for human resource development. I must be trained in newer 11 and 12. That means, oh, acha, I need 5. 11 and 12, that's quite a bit. 22%, 23%. 23% of my salary, half contributed by employer and the employee, to be given for future human resource development of that person in the next 1 year. This is a very extraordinary situation, suggestion. Yes, our friend would like to make make comments here. Thing done in India.
From last 3 days, we are discussing, we are presenting our best practices, and we are getting open forum, panel discussion. But I think that to make more authorization to this RELTTAW project, can we have a RELTTAW day or RELTTAW week, because when we meet that 4 days, we can give him a proper authorization or legal authorization, and we can celebrate our activities as RELTTAW week. So we can save our footprints, we can save our memories, and we can save our all the snapshot or golden moments, and it should be spread to our teachers, our stakeholders. So my suggestion is we can save our RELTTAW day or RELTTAW week.
Please
next
introduce
time.
yourself one round to everyone.
Myself, Yogesh Sonone. I am HOD IT Department, SCRT Maharashtra. And I want that this movement should be spread on large scale, that more and more innovative teacher, active teacher, they can join, they can share their ideas and spread this knowledge to students, because students are the most expectants who need this discussion. They have to be used of this discussion. So I need that students should also be joined here, and we have to celebrate RELTTAW week next time. Thank you.
Okay, let me reply. Yes, let me reply you. Actually, the project, I have a presentation about the entire idea from which I started. Anyway, I want to tell you that it's not very easy to bring students from Europe to Asia or from Asia to Europe at an early age. So that's why we bring just the teachers, and here we are working with the students. For example, in Delhi, we visited yesterday one school. We has activities with the students, many of them. Not tomorrow, after tomorrow, we will be in another school, workshop with the students, with the teachers there. So this is an exchange. Moreover, let me tell you that very soon, with God's wish, we will register RELTTAW in Switzerland, and after that, maybe we will spread more across the world. Then we will hear about us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This
Thank
week
you.
itself, whenever every year we meet, this week itself can be the RELTTAW week. This itself can be the RELTTAW week. Great idea. Okay, any other suggestions? Yes, aye. Please come. The mic is there. Itself you can take. And everyone, please introduce yourself because we may not remember everyone when we see. Just one line introduction, that's all. And then.
I am Rajnikant Bhatt, a junior college teacher in chemistry subject. I have many such solutions to be offered. The discussion which is taking place since last 3-4 days. Generally, we know what are the problems, but passing on this problem to subsequent generation is the place which has to be addressed. What I mean to say is, right from early age, make the child aware of the problems. Generally what happens, as a parent, as a teacher, we always offer ready-made solution to the things, and that is the reason the creativity of child is killed. If at early stage some mechanism is developed to prevent use of things which cannot be recycled, whether it is plastic or whether it is politician. And the media, you say, you stop buying newspaper for a month. Just for a month. Let there be a social boycott. It is not only media nowadays, the media term has been hijacked by social media. And this social media platform is so effective to address such kind of issues. So it is my humble request. There are several innovative ideas were projected here. Sir has successfully implemented also. Why don't we have, or why don't we suggest Ministry of Education of our country as well as other country can also look into this, to have a database of the major problems which we are going to encounter. From early age, see, prevention is better than cure. There are certain things which can be substituted and there are certain things which cannot be substituted. As a fundamental law of thermodynamics, we can't prevent entropy. It has to take place. But certainly some efforts can be made to minimize it. That's only the thing which I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yes, taking a cue from what he said, whenever we meet next time, rather than only presentation is good, one session can be presentation, let there be actual, the way he said, that actual inquiry leading to a project, presented through pictures and video. So a case study presentation of actual work on climate change or environmental protection. Suppose a school has completely changed its entire system of using paper, using plastic, toilet system, everything has changed. So make it a case study. And the type of, a school is producing power. I mean, this is really good. It's producing energy. So these sort of things can be, a competition can be there. So RELTTAW winner of the year, environment project at school or college level, the RELTTAW winner of the year. This could be one of the schemes that we can do. I'm just picking ideas from whatever. And I must tell you everyone, Dr. Saxena has put 4 youngsters to make a summary of all things which are being said from the morning today. And they're working, they'll be submitting the report at the end, which will be shared with all. They'll be publishing the newsletter. They have a regular practice of publishing a newsletter in periodically, and that should also be shared with everyone. I suppose the soft copy can be shared with everyone with RELTTAW. Okay, any more suggestions? Some more hands were there. There were good suggestions, good work done by Yogesh ji also in the morning. Yogesh ji, right? Ankush, Gawande, right? Ankush ji also got some very good movement case study in the morning. So that sort of thing should be the competition. Like the and if we can bring one student and make that presentation. I understand, not easy, as she rightly said, very easy to say here, not easy to take Asian students to Europe or European students to Asia, not easy. But at least the teachers can come. Okay, any other suggestions from anyone before we go ahead with the remaining part of the program? Our friend from Jordan, would you like to make any suggestion? Friend from Jordan or from Yemen? Anyone would like to make any suggestion on how this program is going on this time, last 3 days, and what new ideas you have for next time? Anything you can tell. It's being recorded anyway.
Media in the world don't enough. But in the Arab region, Yemen don't enough, and Arab region, Jordan and Saudi Arabia and Dubai and Kuwait, very good. But next month in November, a conference climate change COP 28 in Emirates Arab United in Dubai. Inshallah, good.
Any suggestions for the next RELTTAW conference? Any ideas for that?
A conference in Dubai, COP 28. All the world countries signature, all countries participate.
Mr. Ahmed Al-Arumi will represent RELTTAW in this conference, and also in the future he want to write one proposal for, please.
Because the RELTTAW.
Yes.
We have in.
You tell that what you discussed.
We have in the future because RELTTAW. Number one, register in RELTTAW because international organization, international. After that, we can make a proposal to UNEP, United Environment Program,
United Nations Environment Program, UNEP,
and UNESCO, and USCO, and UNIDO, after that, finance, training, learning, research about environment, about education, about but exactly, we must register in register RELTTAW in Europe or international. After that, we can do anything, training, learning, travel. Okay.
I agree to that, that registration of RELTTAW, application to international bodies on training and such conferences, then sharing of the expenses also can be done. It is very possible. Immediately on return to your home, let the all reports be collected, photographs be collected, start a social media platform strongly. It is there but not very strongly, and then after registration you can move into submission of proposals.
Yeah, don't register, don't trust, don't believe UNEP, UNIDO, OSCOA, UNESCO. Exactly register. Okay, thank you.
Dr. James, would like to listen from you. How do you think this RELTTAW movement is going on? This conference is going on. What new suggestions you have? Free-flowing ideas. I must introduce Dr. James, and his family runs Vision for Excellence University, which has 2 campuses, one in Congo and one in US. Yes, over to you.
Thanks a lot to both organizers of this amazing program. And thanks to all the partakers as well. I also thank God for enabling me to attend this wonderful program. In regards to the question, Honorable Professor, for me, all is well, up to now. And I have nothing to bring in as point of correction, rather suggesting some of the points that may help for a great development of this. Like as my fellow just said it, having this registered is the first input I brought in, and I had shared with Miss Corina something like 4 months ago. We had started the process already, and we were like, why not having it registered in Denmark, in Switzerland, something like that. And then having the same certificate of international registration registered in our respective nations as well. As I was coming in from stamping our certificate, because I didn't want to make noise, I've just heard you saying or underlining something very important, which is having it recognized by the United Nations offices. Well, from there, I believe we want to go far. The second point, maybe because that one was already said, is having this organization branded in our respective nations. As I'm representing, or I'm the Africa Chancellor of the Vision for Excellence National University of America, I believe having a network of educationists over there, a platform of more than 1,000 of professors too, under my oversight. It's my duty, as it should be all of us duties and responsibilities, to brand RELTTAW in our own, in our respective countries. And by so doing, I believe we want to be known, recognized. We don't have to remain theoretical. Rather, action speaks better than words. Let's pass to greater action. Great are done, greater can still be done. Thank you.
Well said. The last voice from this gentleman who has picked up the hand earlier. And yeah, we will now have to, 4 o'clock it's already. We have to also honor time. And when with the Japanese professor here, we must be strict about time, right? Yes. Over to you.
Action speaks more than words. This is the reality. Because we people established our own example from our home. We speak here, we do many things, but what about us? If we do not use single plastic bag, that will be better for us, that will be better for RELTTAW. We can establish clubs from our schools. I have schools. I am headmaster in secondary school, so I can establish a club in my school. I can do many things, but set my own example by doing good things, by avoid plastic, by avoid many bad things which are demolish our country, demolish our atmosphere. This is the thing. So we set our own example. This is the thing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
With that, we'll bring this session to an end. We conclude on registering RELTTAW, institutionalizing it, getting it recognized through a few international bodies, and creating a country chapter for branding of the organization in each of the countries from where people have come now and wherever we have contacts. There is a request from Kazakhstan for the next session there next year, and we look forward to that. Apart from that, let's do a case, one or more than one case in our schools and colleges with respect to environment protection, conservation, and handling climate change, and bring those cases when we come together in the RELTTAW week. Because those cases are proof of the pudding, what we are talking. So with that, and thanking, I think by now 25 people must have spoken in this session. Thanking everyone who has spoken in this session. We bring this session to an end and hand it over to, I think, Manusri ji for the remaining part of the program. Announce के बाद फिर हाथ उठाते क्यों हैं? आइए, anyway. We have a friend from Kashmir, Madam Iram Rijvi. Please come. Come. Or you're teaching here also. Usually, you should, now that is announced, you come. Give your ideas.
Thank you so much. I, on the behalf of DME Media School, thank you all the dignitaries and all the participants from different spheres and different parts of the world. It was indeed a very refreshing and a very enriching session. Apart from what we are talking about, conservation and many sustainable initiatives that must be taken. In the morning, our respectable Dean sir, he mentioned about that our resources are already depleting. So there must be something be done that how we teach our students, how we can use the already depleting resources, how we can use the minimum resources, not only putting ways into innovations and innovative sections to that leads us to another consumerism lifestyle, which we are already succumbed to, that we are already in a consumerism, that we have to buy something new, something innovative. That leads us to another vicious cycle. We already have many things and we already can learn from our past and we already have things. So why don't we take an initiative that we teach our students how from very less resources we can sustain. Thank you so much.
Zero waste economy and reuse, recycle. And what's the third one? Reduce, reuse, and recycle. That's the point, and to manage the depleting resources.